Grand Risings YouTube. Just woke up a little bit late today. It's 8 o'clock, but I woke up at like 6. There was mist. The New Mexico sky was that enchanted pink and purple. But I overslept. I slept in. I was on the road yesterday for 4 or 5 hours. So I suppose I needed a little bit more sleep. I have about a 4-hour trip up to Taos, and I'm hoping tomorrow I can spend a full day arriving, unpacking, and just enjoying New Mexico. It's I don't very I'm sorry. It's a very, very special place to me. The energy I feel in this place is literally off the charts. I've never experienced anything like it. Here's Yogi. He's been having a good time. Hey, Bubba. So yeah, I'm just so blessed to have arrived here. So I wanted to go over a little bit about owning a Class A vehicle with little to no money. I've dipped halfway into my so-called emergency fund, and the only reason I've done this is because I do have a place to park the RV, and I have income waiting for me when I arrive there. So I have a job, as I mentioned in a previous video. I have a summer employment job, which is promising to be pretty lucrative. Well, check this out. We are definitely gonna take a trip through here. Now, I've heard at rest stops, which is where we are, I've heard that almost at every single rest stop you can find a place to put a tent. So I wouldn't be surprised if we come across somebody with a tent. But we're in some kind of gorge area of canyons that we can see. We just where are we? I'll put it in words here exactly where we are. I forgot. We're an hour into New Mexico, coming from Texas, northwest Texas. So as I was saying, owning a Class A vehicle with little to no money, things that you would definitely want to have, okay? Because I believe it can be done, but there's just a couple of things you're gonna need, okay? So obviously, number one, the emergency fund, okay? But number two and number three kind of go hand in hand. A place that you're gonna park the vehicle that has preferably like a hookup, okay? Because anyone who has a Class A it's for comfort, okay? Really, it's so they can enjoy the comforts that they would have normally in a home, is why you would own a Class A vehicle. But you can also find these vehicles at a fraction of the price, and that's because people don't take their RVs out very often. The RV owner, they probably get on the road, I've heard, like 21 days out of the entire year. So a lot of people just have these buses, okay, sitting in their homes or on their property or in storage, and they're hardly ever using them, and they're often wanting to get rid of them, okay, at a very, very low cost, because not a lot of people are willing to operate these things. So if you can get over the intimidation factor, and you will find one at a good price somewhere. For example, we ended up paying somewhere about 5 grand for ours. Now, I think that was a little overpriced looking back now, but it did have a lot of interest, okay, because we're in Southern California. Um, so I think that was a good price for where it was located. Now, wow, I'll let Yogi off the leash back here. Absolutely beautiful. Um, well, I'll wait till I'm done with the video. So it was about 5 grand for our vehicle. Um, and again, the price is going to vary depending on your location. For example, if the same RV was in a more inhabitable state where you need to be hooked up, like Montana or Texas or Arizona, I believe the RV would have sold for a little bit less, okay? But in Southern California, you can live in this vehicle or in a Class A motorhome, basically without hooking it up, if you're willing to take it that far. So, purchasing one, you can find a great deal depending, okay? You can find a great deal depending. They are out there, and some of them would only cost you 2 months rent for the initial payment, okay? So I would have at least 2 grand. You're going to want to have more than that, but I'm a risk taker. I once moved into my car with $600 in my bank account, and I made it from coast to coast with no job. Okay, but I ended up gaining employment along the way through the national park system. Okay. Um, anyway, so a place to park the RV, and it would be very, very wise to have some sort of income nearby, because owning a Class A vehicle, well, obviously just for cost of living, but the older ones, the ones that you can't afford with no money, quote unquote, you're going to need money coming in, okay, because something is going to go wrong. The roofs go bad on them a lot. The tires are expensive, but you can call around and get a good deal on these. Like as far as a roof, the number three thing I would say is being willing to work on these things yourself. The roof, for example, depending on what kind of shape it's in, you can coat it yourself with about $200 or less than $200 worth of materials. But things like tires, okay, you're going to want to have some money for. Engine problems, things go bad. Like we had the alternator go out on ours. That cost us $1,000. Triple A is something else that you're gonna want to have. Save yourself a $1,000 tow for only $12 a month. Okay, actually any wrecker will be excited for you to call and automatically just quote $1,000. Okay, even if you're going just 20 miles or less, they will you will be overcharged for a tow. And it's a shady industry, the tow industry, especially. They know that you're stuck. They know that they can charge whatever they want, basically, and they know that you have to get your vehicle off the road at some point, or the state will. Okay, and the state will charge you somewhere around the same or more as they will charge. So AAA might want to be number one or two, okay? But obviously income is important. Now, so what else did you need? Well, some sort of tow vehicle, I would definitely say, is a borderline necessity, or an electric bike, okay, or an electric scooter. Those can easily fit into the RV, into the cabin, okay, because you set your motorhome down. The Class A's are not, it's not something that you want to consider yourself mobile in, okay? Yes, it's a mobile home, but these vehicles shouldn't be moved excessively. unless you're just unless you have all the money and you have so much money to spend. If you do not, and most of us don't, these vehicles can be cost effective if you're using them in the smart way. And I believe that if you have a place to park it, okay, if you have income coming in, it is going to be way more cost effective than living in renting a room or renting an apartment. Okay, you have your own space. You have you own the motorhome. Okay, so the campground fees. Look, I have one that's I'm paying $450 a month at a specific campground, but I also have a campground membership to kind of like a KOA type of campground with hundreds of campgrounds throughout the country. I'll go into a more detailed video when I arrive at that campground. But basically, this campground, it allows me to stay for 21 days at a time. And then I move to the next campground. And normally they have a few that are 45 minutes to an hour apart, dispersed throughout various major cities. Okay, so there's a few campground where you can get memberships like this, and I'll go over mine once again when I arrive there. So I won't be at that location. I'm not exactly sure when I'll be back near one of my campgrounds. My opportunities as far as employment lie outside of that area right now. And the last thing that you would need, or there's many things that you would need, but one more thing that you would need to own a Class A vehicle with little to no money, is the mindset, okay? And these aren't ranked; these are just bullet points, okay? The right mindset is critical. Why are you doing this? And the willingness to accept things will go wrong. Okay, things will go wrong from time to time, and that's just something that you have to accept. Okay, freedom over everything. And our forefathers who traveled, okay, supposedly, okay, in horse and buggy, built all these miraculous architecture, churches, cathedrals, etc. We can get into that in another video. But they sacrificed comfort for freedom. Now, I know the irony of living in a Class A vehicle. It's the most expensive vehicle you can own. But many of us, if we're coming from living in a house our entire life, is a comfortable transition to the road. Okay, yes, you're going to need a lot of money, but if you're paying rent in an apartment building, you have money already. Okay, it's just not going to you. So the mindset of, this is my money, okay, and I'm ready to invest in myself, okay, and maybe you don't know what that looks like, okay, but then you can spend time with yourself when you're out. You can spend time with yourself. You can develop that creativity, and you can get to know yourself. Intimacy, into me I see. That intimate relationship with yourself that we have such a hard time understanding ourselves, because we are in fight or flight. We are in fight or flight for the majority of our lives, okay? And that is not fair. But somewhere along the line, we traded comfort for um, we traded comfort for freedom. So the willingness to be uncomfortable, along with the mindset of acceptance that this is a better way for your mental health, not to be locked in fight or flight, and so and forgive me, YouTube, just waking up, just getting the brain loaded here. I'm gonna pan around to some of the scenery. Everyone enjoy this Memorial Day weekend, so everyone have a blessed weekend. I don't know when I'll post these videos, hopefully soon. I'm assuming the campground I'm at has Wi-Fi, and then once I arrive there, probably tomorrow, I can begin to upload some of these videos. So if you're watching this, thank you guys so much. Like, subscribe. Yes, I ramble a little bit. Some of the videos are I'm just loading still. So but I will be posting in this type of platform in my most authentic way, and I encourage everyone to express themselves in the same, with full authenticity, because so many of us are walking around terrified, guys, terrified of what people think, and that keeps us trapped as well. That keeps us locked in these little apartment buildings, paying money, okay, so we can just fit in like everyone else. But yeah, we're at a rest stop, and we have okay, I know this is funny, and I mentioned this in a couple of videos. One more thing, I have really considered, because I've been in the Class A vehicle a while. It's been in storage, but prior to this, we lived in a campground. Okay, we'd go back and forth from campground to campground, but you're very limited as to where you can go. So I've been highly considering taking my Honda Fit and living out of my car. Once again, I used to live in the Honda Fit. I had a bed in there. But I would love to, I've got a shift pod on the way. I would love to take it out to places like these, completely off grid, and try that lifestyle. Because look, I've had enough of the comfort. I'm gonna keep my Class A around the campground areas, and that's the most cost-effective way, I believe, to own these vehicles. Leave it at the campground, okay? Okay. It's, unless you have a ton of money coming in, okay, especially if you work on the road or something like that. But again, this is for people who have little funds, okay? I believe you can own a Class A. If I can do it, anybody can do it, okay, guys? But there are a lot of things that you're gonna have to address before you move into the RV. So I hope this helps someone. Guys, please subscribe. I'm going to be trying to upload a video every single day. I would love to be a part of the van life community here on YouTube, and just give my perspective, because I come with very, very little income. I do not have a skill that I can monetize just yet. I'm working on that. But I have a lot of experience when it comes to this lifestyle, the plant-based lifestyle, the lifestyle detoxification, which has afforded me an immense amount of energy to where I can pretty much do whatever I want with little funds, okay? The opportunities combined with my experience offer me income basically anywhere I want, depending, okay? So thank you once again, YouTube. Sorry for rambling. Everyone have a blessed weekend. Like, subscribe, comment, and thank you guys so much.